Call to order the special meeting of September 22nd, 2014. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Ms. Bach.
Mr. Giovanangelo.
Here.
Mrs. Smith. Here. Mrs. Caldwell-Craven. Mr. Scapora.
Here.
Mr. Baldneri.
Here.
Ms. Beasy.
Here.
Mayor Wolfman.
Here.
6 present.
At this time, if there are any citizens' requests relating to the agenda item, which is the discussion about Latrobe Unity Park and Rec, revitalization of the athletic field, please come to the microphone. And if there aren't any, then Jean.
I'd like to make a request for this time.
Okay, sure.
In reference to this particular project we're talking about, which is the athletic field, and we're looking for city funds to be donated or pledged to the Park and Rec. Are residents of the city allowed to use this facility if they want to play frisbee, play football, fly their kite, or have fun on that field at any time without being a member of a team sport or not?
Absolutely, yes.
So they would be allowed to have the Turkey Bowl football pickup game on Thanksgiving Day down there. If some kids wanted to get together, play a game of tag football, they could do that at the athletic field on the facility.
Well, we have a little bit of an issue with mud football because it tears up the turf, but just flag football and any kind of activity that doesn't damage the turf is fine.
Thank you.
What do you consider, these boys are on for an hour maybe, or 2 hours, it's going to tear the turf up?
These are boys. These are big men. And
Okay.
there's like 30 or 40 of them.
I've played there. I've done different fields with kids and stuff like that. I ran in the same areas over and over and over again. And within springtime, grass is all growing back, nothing wrong with it.
Well, it happens all the time. Do we advocate and encourage it? No. But most often it happens regardless. So I don't see a problem with it.
So the citizens of this town could use that at their leisure whenever, there's no, obviously can't interrupt an existing game there. If they wanted to go down there and play a game of frisbee or
Yes, sir.
toss the baseball around or anything, they could do that without
We do
any.
that right now and
problems.
encouraging them to do that.
Is that at any field or just the athletic field?
It's any field.
Thank you.
Jeannie, you want to go ahead and
Sure.
make your presentation?
Well, yeah, thanks.
Let me just remind everybody too, that is City of Latrobe property, correct? I mean, the city owns that field.
Yes. I put some information on your desks so that I wouldn't have to rustle papers. The first is this little white sheet, and it pretty much summarizes the project scope. But it might be equally as helpful for you to take a look at two landscape architect renderings that are slated. And let me preface this by saying the athletic field, to my knowledge, is our oldest field, our oldest park. It used to be where they played the high school football stadium or games. So when I got here in the mid-90s, It was in very bad disrepair, so we did a renovation and replaced some very unsafe playground equipment, but it sat like that then for 20 more years. So it's time now, particularly because of the $500,000 project that's going to dress up Lincoln Avenue. I'm sorry. Okay. I thought I had a big mouth. Anyways, with the $500,000 project that's going in to put the Lincoln Trail in, we're going to use the athletic field as the trailhead, which involves parking, restrooms, ADA access, water fountains, pavilions, seating, shade, all sorts of things. And given the fact that the athletic field is in pretty rough shape, putting that $500,000 corridor in sort of is important for us to address the athletic field while this is going on. So, as you know, Lincoln Avenue money's in the bank, so to speak. Tomorrow afternoon I have another meeting, and then the design folks are putting some things together, so I'll have some specific information for you soon. But this grant is a $112,000 grant that will dress up the athletic field. We're going to take the old swings out. They're not even in compliance anymore. We're going to remove an unsafe dome climber and replace it with a modern one, demolish the old play equipment, and replace it with new, safer equipment for 2 to 5-year-old kids. We'll put the safety surfacing in, wood carpet, benches. We're going to rehab the basketball area a bit with some new benches and lines and painting, dress it up. The softball field, just the other day we had 25 volunteers with the United Way Day of Caring, and they painted the fences and the backstops and the benches. So we're starting to slowly but surely dress that park up as much as we can. One thing that's very important is ADA access. Right now we have a gravel pull-in parking lot that's not accessible to our deck hockey facility or to the athletic field existing park. So that'll all be connected. There'll be a new pavilion with the increase in deck hockey participants and the Lincoln Avenue visitors that we anticipate. We need to address that. It's like you need to have a place for them to park, and shade, and benches, and water fountains. So then we're also going to do that and rehab the existing restrooms that are in the little deck hockey area. So I don't want you to look too closely at this, and excuse my back, but this one little square is sort of an artist's rendering of the Lincoln Avenue Trail and how close it is to the athletic field. And so the parking will be there, there'll be ADA access, and a path going into the hockey and the basketball and all the other facilities that we have. Thousands of people use this park every year, thousands. Both programs, activities, and then self-directed leisures you were talking about, Mr. Spore. So it'll be a wonderful addition to the Lincoln Trail. As I said, cost is $112,000. We requires a 50% match. We have $40,000 pledged from the Latrobe Foundation and $5,700 in-kind services from Parks and Recreation, some of the work that we can do ourselves, and we're requesting that the city contribute $10,000 towards this grant. In the end, probably a year from now, more than $600,000 will be spent developing city property. So I think the community will respond well to it. I know that the neighborhood area on Cherry and Cedar and along Lincoln will appreciate the improvements to the park.
Jeannie, is this budget, what budget year does this have to be in?
15.
Okay, so you need all 10,000 in 15?
Probably, yes, because it'll be finished. We'll get this done will start in the spring. As I said, the timeline on this is we'll find out in December. They say October, but it's usually December. And then we'll start to get the grant contract together. And then the first time the weather permits in the spring, we'll be working on that at the same time that we'll be working on Lincoln Avenue. So it makes a lot of sense to do them together so that we're not, interfering with each other's.
Any questions from council or the city residents?
The parking there is G, they're gonna be all blacktop then?
Yes.
Okay.
The question I have is, if this will be coming out of next year's budget then, this amount? We have next year's budget prepared yet, Wayne?
Working on it. We're actually, I want to talk about meeting with the budget committee, finance committee, whichever you call it.
So we really don't know what we could commit to. In my opinion, I don't think we know what we could commit to in a dollar amount yet.
That's what I'm thinking, the same thing.
I preliminary, just to calm your fears a little bit, your concern is understandable.
Use your mic, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then just to address that question, I've put together preliminary numbers with the 10,000 again, and you should still be in a balanced budget. There's some things I want to talk to you about changing with the budget, but at this point in time, it's balanced with that 10,000.
My next question is, tonight, are we committing to a dollar amount or just having our name on the grant application?
I think the motion tonight includes the dollar amount. That's what I'm recommending. I mean, it's for I know we need the 10,000 for the grant, or we can't go forward with the grant because we don't have enough of the matching funds. Is that a fair assessment, Jean?
It is a fair assessment. The timeliness of this is the resolution and the city accepting the funds, changing the grant applicant name like we did. Well, we didn't have to do it with Lincoln Avenue because that made a whole lot of sense that the city was the primary property owner. But this is purely city property, and DCNR has smiled favorably on us over the years. Millions of dollars has been spent here in the city.
And I think it's important to understand that the city, even though Park and Rec manages that, the safety issues surrounding the non-compliant swings and stuff could be the liability of the city because it's our property. And the fact that the city itself hasn't spent any money on that property because it's other than what goes into Park and Rec, which is part of operations, which isn't.
Yeah, it's general operating. It's
Right.
It's not development money at all, and it's not capital money. Any of your contribution just goes into our basic general fund. So no, over the years we haven't asked the city for much help with developing their property. We maintain it, we develop it, we program it. And just hoping for your support.
Mr. Kelly, so if that's the city's property, they're just maintaining it and stuff like that, if somebody would get hurt there, then we would be responsible, you said? At all
There
times?
could be.
We always have exposure, even if somebody else is maintaining it. If we knew of a defective condition on the property and didn't take steps to alleviate it. So, I mean, we're always to some degree exposed to that. But by the same token, we have insurance to cover it. That's one of the reasons we get that.
So you're talking negligence would be.
In other words, we knew there was a defect and we said nothing, or we didn't urge to have it repaired.
And I don't disagree that the city should help fund this project for the Park and Rec, for the city-owned property. What I just can't get my hands around yet is, do we have that money out of next year's budget yet? And I don't know. I mean, we're saying we got to cut something somewhere else probably, or raise revenues another way to try to make up for as an additional 10,000 or something. So
What we're looking at within the budget, and again, I want to talk to the budget committee about this in a little more detail, but what we're looking at is to try to maximize some of the transfer assets that we have, and also some of the parking, which is one of the items that I want to talk about tonight, changing some revenue streams. I do think there's opportunities. You know, obviously, I've had a little bit of time to look at it, but I've only been there 5 weeks.
I understand.
Jeannie, you guys have a safety committee that checks your playground equipment on a regular basis?
We do.
Do we have anybody that sits on that committee, Rose? Like Joe, maybe, to go around with them?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean,
We have.
commission people from the Park and Rec Commission.
We have, I sent Craig Sept, who's our program director, off to get his, it's called a CP, Certified Playground Inspection
Was it
Certificate.
Was that Penn State?
They have them all over, yeah. So we paid for that, and he updates that, and he does regular inspections of all of our parks.
So you have a booklet on it?
Yes.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I understand.
where are we currently with this year's budget?
Again,
I know, in the 5 weeks that you've been here, Wayne, where are we? What do you think?
from what I can see and from what I've worked through, we'll have a balanced budget. There are some things I'm going to suggest that the council consider doing, but I do feel that you'll have a balanced budget without cutting for anybody and without making some revenue changes. But like I said, we'll talk about that.
Didn't we get this year an unexpected grant too? A $10,000 grant from somebody?
Well, this year we got a $16,000 grant from Comcast. Now this year's a whole different. This year is coming in ahead of budget, and actually it's not that I'll talk to you about later on about spending some of that. You know, so no, I think you're in fair financial condition.
You don't think funding this is going to cause a major financial hardship? Is what I'm asking you.
Madam Mayor, just for council's knowledge, if you took the 10,000 and put that over the total project cost, we're looking at about an 8% contribution to renovate that field.
No, I know. Any other questions?
Is that right, Judy? Is the amount that you get in the grant from DCNR 112,000? And then
No, it's 56.
half of that?
56.
Okay.
Mhm.
But they don't get that 56 unless we match the 56.
Right.
Right.
And my guess is if we didn't do that and we had to fix what's wrong there, we'd spend more than $10,000. Okay. Any other questions? So at this point, Mr. Kelly, what, we need a motion?
I have a
Resolution?
resolution. Well, actually, it's a form resolution from DCNR. And I'm not going to read it other than to say that the purpose of the resolution itself is to appoint Mr. Jones, our city manager, as the person to execute the grant documents. Also, the motion that we have would authorize the passage of that resolution, and would also authorize Mr. Jones to send a letter, which a copy has been placed in the packet for you to look at. The letter itself requests DCNR to substitute the city for the Park and Rec Commission, and then the resolution authorizes Mr. Jones to sign the document. So basically, it's twofold.
But the $10,000 isn't in there.
But 10,000, well, it's not anywhere in the language here, but quite honestly, from what Jeannie said, if we don't give it, I'm assuming that the grant will fall through.
It's in the grant application.
Oh, it's in the grant application.
Right.
So,
So if we're going to move forward at all,
it includes all of those things.
it includes the dollar amount.
So the motion would be to adopt the resolution which changes
Changes the applicant for the DCNR grant and authorizes the city manager to sign the grant agreements and other related grant documents.
and includes the $10,000 commitment from the city because that's part of the grant. Okay.
That he would be signing.
Do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any further questions or discussion? Ms. Buck?
This is resolution 2014-53. Mr. Scapora.
Yes.
Mr. Baldnery.
Yes.
Ms. Beasy.
Yes.
Mrs. Smith.
Yes,
Mr. Giovanangelo.
Yes.
Mayor Wolford.
Yes.
Vote is 6 yes.
Thank you, Jean. Go the game.
Thank you all.
Be careful
Really appreciate
driving.
it. Thank you very much.
Is there any unfinished business that we want to talk about that anyone can think of? Or any new business? This is kind of our agenda prep meeting. Anyways, so with that in mind, I will ask for an adjournment.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Now we'll move on to the agenda section. Wayne, you're on.
First on the list is the Committees of Distinction. It's an organization that uses spokesman Terry Bradshaw. They've approached Latrobe and has asked if the city would be interested in doing promotional video that will show on actually 20 times. It's on 1 national exposure and 19 local TV spots. It's highlighting the many outstanding attributes the city would have. There is a $19,800 fee.
Wayne and I had a conference call with them, and I'm not sure they were clear on where they got their names, but it's with some internet research and things like that. But we do have to come up with 20 grand if we want to do it. So I think I emailed all of you about this and didn't hear one response, so I kind of figured.
I was on board till I scrolled down to the bottom.
Yeah. They're calling us back tomorrow, by the way, for an answer. So, I mean, I'm not asking for a vote or anything, but I'm just kind of trying to get a consensus from everybody if we don't have 20
If
grand.
anybody asks, it's not in the budget. Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah, it was.
No, it wasn't Terry Bradshaw, trust me. Okay, I think we got the answer, don't you? I think we knew the answer, but, okay, thanks.
I want to remind everybody about the Greater Latrobe Valley Chamber of Commerce dinner. It's October 14th at 5:30. If anybody wants to go, we've got some names already. But if anybody else wants to go, please let us know tonight.
Yeah, tonight's got to be it needs to be the deadline. Fortunately, it's almost sold out.
Yeah,
I also sent you guys another email. Did you see it? Did you have thoughts on that? No. No, that's not what I was talking about. The other thing. You didn't see it.
Oh, yeah.
We need to decide.
No. This?
Mike Anthony.
Yeah, but I mean, I already.
Oh, yeah, that, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys okay with that? Okay.
All right. Next is a discussion of the current discount for parking meters, which just leads into the budget. Right now, there's a 35% discount for different residents. I think I provided you information in the packet. And I would like to either eliminate that as of the first of the year or significantly reduce the discount.
Can you explain the discount?
The discount is for city residents and it's for certain, I'm trying to think, I have the information.
Is it for people that like live along like Spring Street where their houses, the only parking they have? No.
This is for permits.
You know what, I didn't
Not just the
bring
little.
it.
Oh, okay.
This is for every kind of permit that we sell.
Yeah, it's for different
Into the
parking lots.
revenue.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure what the original thought process was. Some of the individuals that would be paying $75 a month are now paying $48 a month. Obviously, that significantly impacts the revenue stream. Again,
So if you're a city resident and you want one, you pay a reduced rate, and if you live outside the city, you don't.
right, as I understand it, again, but it does have a significant impact in your budget.
These ones you have to live and work in the city.
For these ones, you have to live and work in the
This
city.
isn't the little.
Okay,
stick
okay.
For
I don't mind the discount, but 35 cents is a big discount. 35%.
Yeah, again, that's council.
I would like there to be some discount, but 35% is a big discount.
And I talked to Pango, and we were talking about perhaps having Pango offer a 10% discount as an incentive.
Mhm.
You may want to go in line with that, with the other meetings. That's up to you, as a group.
Okay. Give us some proposals.
Yeah, the budget, and when the budget committee meets, then, we can talk a little more about that. All right.
You and Madeline. Yeah, it's finance.
Finance committee, budget committee, it's one and the same.
Budget or finance.
No.
Again, like I said, next is to set up the budget or finance committee review dates. Just let me know, for the finance committee, let me know, what dates you want to meet and we'll work on it.
I told them to work off your schedules, and I'll try to, make it when I can, but you and Mike figure it
My
out.
schedule right now is pretty much open.
Rub it in, Madeline. Rub it in.
Oh, season's over, we know.
No, I was tied up there for quite some time.
I did
Now
I'm just teasing you about being retired, we're all jealous.
Oh.
Well, I know I am.
Someday you'll be old too.
Well, we need to set that, I'll contact you too, and we'll set up some time frame. Next is the Community Foundation of Westmoreland County Revitalization Grant. Went to that meeting today. What it is it's from $500 to $40,000. It's an unusual grant in the fact that it's a $1 to $3 grant. You put $1 in, they match it with $3. So, and the max being $40,000.
Up to $40,000.
Yeah,
My guess, they only have $150,000 in this round to give out, and it's only eligible to the municipalities within Westmoreland County. I went to the meeting when did I go last week?
16.
Yeah, I went last Monday. And the other nice thing about that grant is that your match can be in in-kind services, all of your match, and that can be even volunteer time. There's a dollar amount, I think it was $21 an hour. So if we track the volunteer hours of somebody, that can go towards our match, so.
They match 3 to 1.
Yes, 3 to 1. They're $3 to your $1, and it is a $21 for in-kind service, which is very good, very generous. And it's only 7 cities that are eligible.
Yeah, it's the 7 cities in Westmoreland County, third-class cities.
Right, they're all third-class cities.
And, well, yeah, but
There's guidelines for what the money could be used for.
they're wide open.
Yeah, there's some suggestions of, we've talked about perhaps doing some, the train platform is one project that can turn into a historic train site. The other is it's ADA compliant. We did look at, we had talked originally about doing some ADA curb cuts. Now, not the sidewalk, just the curb cuts. And they're eligible, that's also eligible. So there's a number of things that are eligible. It is pretty, like you said, it's pretty wide open. But we have to have that back to them by October 31st.
Yeah, and the one thing they're really encouraging is collaboration between organizations within your community. The hope is that there apparently are 3 different organizations that are funding this, each with $50,000. And the hope is that the impact of this will be significant enough that the next go-around could be significant dollars for these municipalities. I think the Community Foundation recognizes the struggles that municipalities like us have. But yeah, I mean, it was like everything from flower beds to, beautification to,
marketing development, which business development,
Yeah.
look a little more about what they mean by that. But
so LUPR can, yeah, I mean, we've talked to Jared Trenzo at LCRP, Community Revitalization. They can apply, the city can apply, we can each get grants.
The only caveat is that whatever project you apply, it has to be finished by the end of next year. Next on there is I understand there's a council person that wants to help with overseeing the St. Vincent Trail project.
Yes, we, Matt, yeah. He volunteered. We met, I met with Linda Box recently, and she's working with a group on the St. Vincent's Trail into Latrobe, and we signed, you know, the initial paperwork, and the requirements are that there has to be a representative on the board from the city. I know Jerry's a runner, and I asked him if he would consider serving on that board, and he said yes, that he would. So thank you for that, Jerry. That is a good project, I think, and I really think that, you know, it's going to be good for the city.
Lastly, on my list is the Westmoreland Transit has asked for a contribution of $1,035 for the 14-15 timeframe. And if the council wants to, we'll get a resolution for that.
That's something we do every year, is contribute to that. It just looks like it's about $100 more than last year, so a little bit more maybe. I thought it was $940 last year.
That's what I'm thinking, it's a little more.
And they have stops in our town, so they service this town with transit authority buses.
That's it on my list.
Anybody have anything on their list? Yes, Mr. Bush.
I have a list.
Okay.
Okay, incidentally, along with that, Mr. Scapora, if we could possibly put a note in to the Westmoreland Transit Authority, some of their signage in this town is, you can't even read it. And I would be happy, Mayor, if we could get some signs to, you know, our crew could even install them.
I have a meeting tomorrow there at the Transit Authority, so I'll bring it up.
Okay, some of them are really, really in bad shape.
I thought they'd replaced some of them.
No, we had talked about
Okay.
a year ago, but no.
I'll take care of that.
And Mr. Bush, they supply them, right? We don't supply the sign.
We've never put them up, but I'm saying I'd even, you know, be willing to work with them when we had time to put them up.
And they supply the sign itself, or would have to supply the replacement sign if they get replaced.
Right.
We have, I mean, they have, I know they have, I'm pretty sure they have them all. So, I don't know. Okay, I'll look into it, I'm meeting tomorrow.
Okay, this week, and sorry for the short notice, but up at the transfer station, we're going to have a little open house. It'll go on kind of all day, but from around 10 to around 1, we're going to have some hot dogs, maybe some water or lemonade or something, just to thank our longtime loyal customers, to welcome our new ones, to help advertise what it is we really do there.
When? What day?
This Wednesday. And I understand all of council, most of council are working, that's a work day. But if you can get away, you know, around lunchtime. And I extend that to the police chief, anybody that's working that day, if you can get up for a few minutes, see what it is we do there, meet some of the customers, and introduce yourself. Just kind of a way of meet and greet and see what it is we do there. That's this Wednesday. We are working currently on a CDBG paving project. It will be paving, and the city manager will, he touched on it in the beginning about curb cuts, handicap ramps, and we'll be getting into that particular project. Taking delivery on our new Mack truck, which I thank you very much, this week. And been approached today by a lady who has a parent at the NCR building. This lady had gotten a ticket in the 10-minute drop-off zone. And she had expressed to me, she said that it is virtually impossible to park there for 10 minutes, go up and get your elderly parent or whomever you're there, bring them down, or take groceries back up, come back down, make another trip. She says it just can't be done in 10 minutes. And she was wondering if that 10-minute drop-off could be extended a longer period of time, and I said I would bring it to council here tonight.
Which building, Jeff?
It would be the NCR building.
National Church Residence?
It would actually be a sign on Weldon Street, almost close to the intersection.
It she give a recommended time?
I asked her what she thought, and I said, you know, would you be talking double? And she said, well, that would certainly help.
Speaking from experience, 20 minutes would be the shortest time that it would take you to get in there till they answer the buzzer, till you get up to their place, bring them back down, they get you back in, maybe have a second load of groceries, because I go through that. 20 minutes would be better than 10.
Currently, we're asking them to do it in 10, and, you know, now that we have pretty good enforcement out there, I guess our meter maid is doing her job in enforcing things like this.
In addition to that, if you were to park in a metered space other than along that street there, well, there is the drop-off space and then there's meter spaces below it and above it. I'd like someone to park at any one of those spaces and open up the passenger door and try to get someone out without hitting a tree that's parked right at the passenger door for the parking space. So when you want to get someone out and the drop-off space is filled, you have to park somewhere where you have to take up 2 parking spaces, because the way the trees are and the way a passenger door opens up in the parking space, your passenger door, if you're going to pick someone up or take someone there, the passenger door opens right up into the tree. So we need to look at that too, to either rely on parking spaces or move the trees.
How many meters? How many meters did we take out?
I
believe there's 2 trees that involve 2 parking spaces there. I mean, whether it's a metered space or not, the space is already defined, so even if you put a sign there, you wouldn't put a meter there. The space is defined. When you're parked in that space, you can't get someone in or out of the passenger door because of the tree that's there.
I don't have no problem giving a half hour. I understand that when I take my parents, my mother somewhere, it's tough.
I don't see a problem with that
I don't
either.
see-
We have to pass an ordinance.
Resolution,
Yeah,
to
resolution.
amend that and then do it by ordinance. Good.
And then I don't know what to do about the tree thing.
It's not all the spaces, but I believe there's 2 of them that are hampered by trees right at the passenger door level or area of a normal passenger car when you open up your door.
Yeah.
Of course, they're just newly planted.
I'll go out there and plant somewhere else then. Just
It's just a thought to look at that to see if there's any solution to it.
Anything else, Joe?
That's it, thank you.
I just wanted to mention a couple of things. This past week, we had the Latrobe reality tour. I wasn't able to be there, but I understand it was incredibly successful. And the dates of the other ones, the next one is October 15th. So I encourage, there was about 60 people here from what I understand. So I encourage all the residents to, you know, take a look at that. It talks about educating kids in you know, the dangers of drug use in the community and stuff like that. But from everything I've heard, it was really, really a wonderful program, and a lot of people had a lot of great things to say about it.
I think that's their limit.
Yeah, they had too
Yeah.
many people, really.
Did they? Yeah. So, anyways, there's a poster over there. It's once a month from September through I think May on a Wednesday. The second thing was on Thursday, we had our first Citizens Police Academy class. It was the first of a 10-week class. District Attorney Peck was the guest speaker. We have probably about 16 people attending that. If you complete 7 of the 10 classes, you get a certificate. And I saw, and Chief Bumar gave me this copy of the syllabus. They've got a lot of really wonderful things planned. So if anybody has an interest, there's still time to get in there into those classes. I think he can take a few more, and then maybe if it's well received, do another one. But it was really impressive, and I commend Chief Bumar and Officer Rummel and all the police officers that were participating in that. They're going to do a 911 visit to the 911 call center. They're gonna have different guest speakers and all that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting if you want to understand a little bit more about how law enforcement in your community works. I encourage everyone to take a look at that. Also, the Halloween parade is going to be October 25th. We need to get something advertised about that in the paper. It's right. They do that. The Lions Club does that. Okay, it's at 2 o'clock.
They could still put something in there.
Okay. Yeah, it's 2 o'clock on Saturday, October 25th is the parade, followed by trick or treat from 4 to 7. And that's all I have. Does anyone else have anything?
I have one more thing, even though I just said that earlier, I was out of things. You talked about Comcast, and Joe reminded me about the signs. We were going to, if the council has no problem with it, I'd like to look at get a price on an electronic sign for the building here. The firemen approached us, and they were interested in doing it. They don't have much money to throw into the pot, but we do have some money from Comcast, and also look at some leaving Latrobe signs or entering Latrobe signs to kind of designate the entrance and exit for the city. It's a little obscure, it's hard to tell where it starts and ends.
I had the privilege of speaking last week, I don't know what day it was now, but to a group of veterans that in the 50s served in England with the Royal Air Force, and every year they have an anniversary alumni meeting, and they have it at a different city. One of the retired veterans hosts it, and this year it was in Latrobe, and they had their event at the Wingate, and they asked me to come and speak and talk a little bit about the history of Latrobe. And they were from all over the place. They were from California and New York and Alabama, and it was really a neat event. But one of the overwhelming comments that I heard was, we didn't know we were in Latrobe. We didn't even know we were near Latrobe. I mean, we drive around all the time. We don't even think about it, but there's really no signs or anything anymore that say, welcome to Latrobe. Not even out on 30. There used to be one out on 30 by the airport. Yeah, so I think that's something that I know, Joe, we have enough signs in here, but you ought to think with all the signs, we have 4,000 signs, a couple of them should say, welcome to Latrobe, don't you?
I agree.
So I think that's something we really need to look into. And then I was also going to talk to Unity Township guys and see if maybe we can, go jointly on a sign somewhere out on 30 that welcomes you to the greater Latrobe area or something like that.
And 30 is a state highway, so we ought to be able to talk to our state representative about getting some signage along Route 30 for that.
Yes, that's a good point, Mike. So anybody else have anything? Yes, Ron?
I'd like to see the city take advantage of control of smoking in the park. It's really something down there. We're not trying to stop them from smoking, but we're just trying to control where they're allowed to smoke. And the pack I gave council, it's right next to the parking lot. You can stand there, look straight at the park area. 75 feet to the left would be the restroom, and to the right about 50 feet to water fountain.
Are you talking about athletic field?
No.
Legion Keener.
Yeah, Legion Keener.
I mean, it's something we need to look at everywhere because.
And there was no charge to the city because the foundation said they would buy the benches and do the gravel work.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Griffin said he'd probably donate the first trash can for the cigarettes. And one time I took my grandkids down there and I sat on a bench at the park. There was 12 butts on the ground.
Yeah.
And if you walk around the park, there's about 50 butts on the ground down there.
Mm-hmm.
That's like $15,000 worth of litter.
Yeah.
That's hard to be. So I think council probably should look at that.
Yeah, and that's another thing that concerns me a little bit about improving, the athletic field. That problem is not there anymore, the congregation of people smoking there. But the reason for that is because they put the benches away. Oh, really? They're back without any place to sit?
They have the benches they painted, brought them back.
Oh, okay.
And they were all, I drove past yesterday in that rainstorm and they were all sitting on the.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something.
I never realize about the other parks, okay, until I read that article from Mrs. Smith. She lives on Cherry Street. She had to call the police one time. They were smoking. They were having all kinds of fights over there and so forth. So she's got a problem on Cherry Street.
And I do know, because I've talked to Chief Bumar, and I know that, you know, we do make routine patrols out there, and that Officer Dirk and Officer Rocky are there almost at least every day, stopping in and checking on things. And most of the time when they're there, they're just kind of sitting around and talking. And there's a fine line between, you know, it's a park, so should they be able to hang out there? Or, you know, how do you enforce it? What do you enforce?
Well, sometimes I think it should be like a small fine, just like a dog litter, okay? There's about 20 dogs that walk by my house all the time. Everybody carries a bag. And one time I saw him with all the road. You know, my neighbor saw him on the road. He went out, he knew the guy. He asked the guy to pick it up, and the guy kept on walking. So he picked it up and threw it on his porch, and he had a problem. It's always the neighbors, the people who help. If I'm sitting down at the park, somebody is smoking that's not supposed to be smoking there, you can say, hey, you can get fined for that. I'll bet you stop smoking. Something like that.
Yeah, Ron, thank you. I read over your, I think we probably all have read over the policy you gave us, and I think we need to take a deeper dive into that. So, anybody have any other comments or questions for the good of the order here?
Yeah, we have another neighborhood watch meeting scheduled for October 20th at 6:30. We're still looking. I have some pamphlets over there. I have some down at the office out front. I'm not sure if I have any more of the sign-up sheets or not.
How many people
down there? Yeah, I don't know where they're at. I thought I had some over here, but there's none over there, so I don't know if somebody took them or. Okay.
October.
You said October 20th?
20th, it's a Monday, 6:30. I think we're finally coming together from, I had some good help.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people, but, you know, it'll come. You gotta help your neighbors, you gotta watch out for your neighbors. I just found a lady, older lady who died a week before anybody found her. And it's pretty sad. But on another note, Wednesday, October 8th is the Latrobe Fire Prevention Fair down at the Family Video. So John isn't here to mention it, so I figured because we don't have a council meeting before that.
What time's that?
6 o'clock.
6 to 8. Bring your kids, bring everybody, yeah.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of wonderful things going on around here, and a lot of good ways for residents to get involved in their communities. It's a great way to meet people, find out what's going on, and so I encourage everybody to try and get involved in something, because it's a lot of fun too.
Ann did talk to a guy from Norfolk Southern, and he said, showed her what we could do. So there's another way that we could get some grant money to fix some stuff up there, up on the platform. We can actually put a fence up. We have to put a barrier, like whether it's a chain link fence or what, so far away from the tracks. And they might even open those steps from Engineer Street, so, and put some benches up there and some plaques about the history of Latrobe or whatever, and, you know, so people can actually go up there and sit and watch. Right now, you're not allowed to go up there and watch the trains go by, so.
I'd be afraid.
Yeah. You know, we gotta find some money to fix it.
Well, that's what.
That's one of the things that we're thinking of applying for this community grant. So if we get some of that plus some money from Norfolk, you're saying Norfolk Southern supplies Mike?
No.
Oh.
They own it.
And they'll kind of like give it to us if we take care of it.
Didn't you
Yeah,
tell
they were talking about, they would donate it, because they don't want to maintain it. They were talking about donating it to the city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did some quick calculations on the fence and on the roof and that, because it needs a new roof.
Yeah.
And you're talking about, I mean, with this material, about 12 grand.
Well,
And then, you know, labor, And then that's not doing the asphalt or the landscaping or benches or anything, that was just the roof and the fence.
That's a start anyhow.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought we could.
Do it in phases. That's one of the things they said at the community foundation. If you have a project that is too expensive for this, pick a phase, do it in phases, because there's probably going to be more, hopefully more grant money down the road, so.
No, I'd like to meet with maybe Jerry and Wayne and talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Okie dokie. That's cryptic, but okay. These lawyers, man, I'll tell you. Okay, anything else, anybody? Okay, thank you, everyone.
Here's my